Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
My name is Jason.
Hey, Jason.
I have a hand from the Horseshoe, Southern Indiana. It's
Okay.
20 minutes west of Louisville.
Okay.
It's 1-2 no limit, max buy-in $300.
1-2 NL 300 cap. Okay. Yep.
Two primary villains. Villain number one is Under the Gun. She has $400.
Okay.
Villain number two is Under the Gun +1. He has $350.
Okay.
I'm in the small blind, $500. I have Jack of Diamonds, 9 of Diamonds.
And how much do you have? You have them covered?
$500.
$500. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a button straddle for $5, so I'm the first to act. The table is reasonably deep and loose, not too aggressive pre-flop, so I just call the $5.
With jacks.
And Jack of Diamonds, 9 of Diamonds.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you're in the big blind,
okay.
right?
Small blind.
All right. So here is I don't know why you're speaking very clearly. I just misheard. So you're in the small blind.
That's okay.
And so it's 1-2 $5 button straddle. So you complete the $4 with Jack 9 of Diamonds,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Now,
Correct.
would you limp that under the gun?
If it was under the gun, no, I would probably just fold it. But like I said, the table had been was deep, loose, and not too aggressive pre-flop. Like this particular button, she had always straddled and had never raised. So I felt like maybe I could play a multi-way pot. Was my thinking.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what if she was the button and you were under the gun? You would not limp. I mean, the point that I'm trying to come across here is that just because you're in for one, you have an extreme positional disadvantage. You should be tighter in this position than you're under the gun range. So if you're not limping this under the gun, I wouldn't. Now, certainly I have limped Jack 9 suited under the gun in loose passive games. I'm just asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not going to limp this under the gun, I don't see how you limp it in the small blind with a button straddle.
My thinking was, and it may not be correct, I was thinking that it would kind of be like I would limp and then a bunch of other people would limp too. So, but yeah, if there's no action, I would definitely fold it.
Anyway, so you limp.
Yeah, and what I wanted to happen ended up happening. 6 players or 5 other villains call, and it's 6 of us $30 to the flop.
Okay, so 5 other $30 to the flop. Okay.
King of spades, 10 of spades, 8 of clubs. I flop an open-ended straight draw with Jack of diamonds, 9 of diamonds. Offsuit 7 would give me the nuts. Offsuit queen would give me the second nuts, losing to ace jack. I have a winning image. I haven't been getting out of line, so I decided to take initiative since nobody else has and bet $15 half pot.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. We had a similar call with this sort of situation, not with your exact hand, and it was actually the caller that we just had today from several weeks ago. You've got a 5-way limped pot here, or 6 ways, or whatever it is. 5 others call, so 6-way limp pot. The purpose of betting Jack 9 here is a semi-bluff, right? Do you think that betting $15 into 30 is going to get it through?
I mean, with so many players, I guess my thinking was either I was hoping it would get through, or if not, maybe build a pot and hit later was kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, building a pot up, there's 2 spades out there. If you hit a queen, you don't necessarily have the nuts on the top end. If you hit a 7, you do. I just think that if you're going to try to push this hand with some fold equity, which you might, because this might actually be one of the worst draws that you can have.
Yeah.
You would check raise. No, it wouldn't be a lead. You're never going to get a king to fold, even if you bet 30 from this player.
Okay.
So I think it's a check call or a check raise, a mix of both.
Gotcha.
Maybe leaning towards it depends on what happens in the field after you check, but I certainly wouldn't bet half pot here. But okay, but you bet 15.
Yeah, the big blind calls.
Okay.
And the under the gun, she raises 45 to go.
So sort of a small raise.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
And then under the gun, +1 calls the 45. It folds around to me. The pot is 150 and 30 more to me.
Okay, so you bet 15 big blind calls. Under the gun lady makes it 45 plus one calls. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the pot is like 90, 105, 120 plus what was out there
Yeah,
anyways. It's like
150.
150. 150,
Yeah.
30 for you to call. I mean, I would probably call and just proceed with a lot of caution, obviously.
Right.
Now, if you're talking about bet three betting here, with your draw, it's one of these things where, I mean, I guess it's possible that you wouldn't think that under the gun plus one is necessarily slow playing something. I mean, I guess it's possible he could have eights or king 10, but usually at this level, people want to protect those hands when somebody raises in front of them. I just don't see a lot of people raise fold at this level, even if it is a limp pot. Plus, it's a straddled pot too. So that means that people tend to be a little bit more tight. They're more conservative because the stakes are larger. So, if you had a 15 out combo draw like Jack 9 of spades or something like that, I could probably see bet three betting, especially if someone could have higher spades. I don't think that your draw here is really good enough to go buck wild, but I would call getting 5-1.
Yeah, this I had some notes on the villains. Villain number one, she was an Asian woman. She looked like she was in her 50s, and she had been playing her draws passively and playing made hands fast. So that kind of goes to what you were saying, like more of a made hand. And villain number two was a white man in his 30s and 40s, and I hadn't played a lot of hands with him, but my early impression was kind of loose and passive. Just trying to get the showdown or possibly like a draw, like a flush draw or straight draw.
Right. So you think that under the gun has some sort of made hand, and maybe the guy behind has a draw. Well, I mean, I gave you my thoughts. So what did you do?
I thought I was definitely behind, but I felt like the price was too good, so
Okay.
I just went ahead and called the 30 just to
Right.
see what happened. Just because they were both showing interest, and I thought we were kind of deep. We all had like close to 200 big blinds.
Sure. And then did the big blind call behind you?
No, he did not. It was
Okay.
just three of us to the turn. The pot
Okay.
was 180.
Okay, so 180 to the turn. Yep.
Yeah, and the turn was the queen of clubs. Gave me it. I hit my straight, but
Right.
it was the second nut straight, and it
Sure.
brought backdoor clubs to go with front door spades.
So the pot's 180, and you've committed 50. Well, people have committed about 50 of their stack. So under the gun two's got 400. Villain one who is the raiser has about 350. So you're leading. You're sort of have like two pot sized bets left. It's sort of strange, like I said. I mean, I talk about this all the time to sort of come out and bet into the multi-way field here, but at the same time, I sort of like the play at this level because you're going to
So
get
you like a lead here.
yeah, because you're just going to get like a lot of pair and straight draws to call, and I'm not necessarily convinced that under the gun is super strong here. And even if under the gun has ace king, I don't. I think probably betting going lead is going to be way better than trying to go for some sort of check raise on the turn if it even gets bet on the turn. I don't know how often someone's going to bet here without two pair plus, given the nature of how sort of scary this turn card is for a lot of one pair hands. So I would definitely bet here, and I would probably bet 100 to 125. If you get called in one spot, the pot will be 400, and they'll have about a half pot size bet left.
In the moment, I was thinking that under the gun would probably continue to bet, and so I elected to check. And she did end up betting. She bet 125 into the 180, which in 1-2 is a pretty big bet.
Sure.
And then the under the gun plus one quickly called, and so the pot was 430 at that point.
Okay.
Villain one had 225 left. Villain two had 175 left. It was 125 to me to call, or if I raised to 350, it would put them both all in.
Well, I mean, is there any decision here?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because in the moment, like I don't know how games are other places, but like around the South where I play, like people don't usually get it in, like 200 big blinds light. So my first instinct was like,
Yeah, but look at the size. Yeah, but look at the size of the pot and look at the size of the bet that she made. You said earlier that she's not going to really do this with draws. All you lose to is ace jack, right? So the only possible the only possible hand that you're really losing to here is ace jack of spades. Now maybe plus one has that and he's slow playing the super nuts, but UTG is very, very rarely going to have that. 125 in a call, the pot's 430. These guys only have like 275 to 300 left in their stack, right? Like if you check shove, if you check shove, you're gonna have 2 to 1.
Bet.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, when I started thinking about it, I convinced myself villain 1 had a made hand, and I felt like villain 2, if they had ace jack, because there's so many scare cards to come. Like there's 2 flush draws, there's one, there's you pair the board, 1-liners, 2 straight, all kinds of stuff. I felt like he would probably raise.
Okay.
If he had ace jack, so I went ahead and shoved, and villain 1 was kind of frustrated and thought for a minute or so and folded. And villain 2 insta-called. He ended up having jack of spades, 7 of spades, and the river was a blank, like a 5 of diamonds. And the villain 1 said she had king 10. So maybe I'm too nitty, but I just remember thinking if I didn't have a good read, if I hadn't played hands with the first villain, if I didn't have a read in the second villain, I kind of felt like I could have been in a tougher spot. Like, because it was, like I said, I just don't see players around this area just blindly stacking off 200 big blinds. But
yeah, but
I
here's
don't know,
but here's the thing though. Like, and again, it's interesting that you mentioned this. You're saying 200 big blinds, but the straddle is on for 5, right? So effectively, you're less than 100 big blinds deep. You're only really 80 big blinds deep effective. Now, I know that people don't get it in with the same ranges because they're going to pull back because it's a straddled pot, but that makes a huge difference in how big the pot size is, though. Like I said, you haven't even done anything here, really, except a very single raise, and the check shove on the turn is less than a pot size bet. So Jack 7 of spades was open-ended in a flush draw that obviously bricked out. The lady, could she have king 10? Yeah, I think that's actually a plausible hand that she could have. I think it goes to show you, though, how I think that bet 3-betting there is probably a little bit of a mistake. Now, people would say, well, you think she has a plausible hand. Why would you donk lead the turn? Because, isn't she always going to bet the turn? Not necessarily. I think she's got a lot of ace-kings here, too. Sometimes even like a limped aces that's trying to trap. I've seen people check through even king 10 here. I mean, when it goes bet, raise, call, you're not going to get people to blast king 10 here all the time. And in actuality, looking at the ranges, it might not even be a bet. Now at the low stakes, it might because of the draws, but it's probably pretty close. So
let me ask you this: if that second villain, if I had no reads, and if instead of calling the 125, if he just shifted, do you still think it's a clear call?
You have the second nuts, dude.
Okay.
I mean,
All
you can have so many hands there. I mean, he could be going with king queen. He could have jack x of spades right there. I mean, and again, you're less than 100 big blinds effective. So you got to watch that straddle and how that affects the pot size. But thanks for the call. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out CrushLivePoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.